welcome to the podcast. I'm really excited to introduce to you Justin, who is probably the most talented ads maker that I know. Justin has, I'm not joking, spent more money on ads than you and I and everyone on your street can spend in a lifetime. Okay, he spent that money on ads for people using Google ads, Facebook ads, things like that. Justin, why do you recommend so much that people get into Google ads, get into Meta ads, get into LinkedIn ads? Why?
I think just the main thing is just how highly targeted it can be. So you can really hit your target audience very, very exactly. And yeah, also the second benefit is everything is directly measurable. So you can see exactly how much you spent on your advertising campaigns, exactly how many clicks, how many impressions, and then yeah, obviously how many calls or lead forms or conversions you've got directly from the activities. It's just, yeah, a fully kind of accountable and yeah, just in terms of the volumes these days as well, everyone is obviously either on Google or kind of Facebook or Instagram. So in terms of hitting kind of mass market is there, but then also you've got that audience kind of overlay on top of it. So you can really hit your audience kind of really, really tightly.
Yeah, it's not like back in the day where old people sat around reading the newspaper. Okay,
No.
if you want to get the word out to people, you have to go where they are. They're not reading the paper. They are sitting on their phone. They are sitting on their computer. Let's go there. So it's remarkable what you said about you can measure every cent you spend. If people just pay for pamphlets and get pamphlets dropped off to their neighborhood, they don't know who phoned them because of the pamphlets or because of something else. Whereas, say, on Google ads or Meta ads, Facebook ads, you know exactly how many people contacted you as a result of clicking on those ads, because that's what the software does. So you've helped me build a couple of seven-figure businesses. You helped me build a tutoring business about a decade ago. You helped me build another business with an NDIS a few years ago. I seriously would not have been able to grow those businesses without the ads that you did for me. Okay. What's it been like for you watching many, many companies you work for grow from small to large on the basis of the work that you do doing people's ads?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's great, and I think kind of at this kind of time you have to be online and have to be advertising. So, I mean, if you're not there, like definitely your competitors are going to be there advertising on Google and Meta and LinkedIn and other kind of paid platforms. So, uh, yeah, I mean, it like critical that you're there and getting that exposure. And then, yeah, just from my perspective, obviously it's really great to watch businesses grow and also, yeah, be a part of their success, really.
Yeah. And I appreciate the work you've done for me. Thank you. And now to be able to work with you and help others, like we've done for so many businesses over the years, it's a joy. Now, a lot of people say within NDIS or allied health, they don't actually use ads. For them, it's like, well, why would I do that? Because they're still back in the mindset when there was an abundance of work. But that season's finished. We're now in the spot where, particularly, you'll see later this year, less and less work in NDIS and allied health. People are going to need to use ads. How do people choose whether they should be using Facebook ads or Google ads or LinkedIn ads? Like, what sort of criteria determine for you whether your first go-to will be Facebook ads or Google ads?
I mean, every case is kind of unique. So it would be kind of looking and speaking to that client, understanding their kind of goals and targets for their activity. And then yeah, also their kind of target audience, exactly who it is. And then yeah, looking at that particular niche that they might be in, understanding kind of what kind of volumes are on Google in terms of search volumes, specifically in their local market as well. So yeah, tying that in, and then yeah, also looking at kind of what's available on other platforms such as Meta, whether their service is kind of right for that space, and yeah, also seeing kind of what kind of creatives and assets they might have as well, and then yeah, from there proposing like a media plan for them. But in general, I mean, the best approach is probably to run a multi-channel marketing campaign where you're getting kind of really highly targeted traffic from Google with that kind of search intent where users are searching your exact kind of service or offering. And then also looking at something like Meta for the remarketing or prospecting element as well, where you can typically get a lot cheaper CPCs. So yeah, it really depends, but take it kind of case by case and then kind of review from there, really.
Yeah, that makes sense. So say with the last business that you helped me build, we were using Facebook ads or meta ads, like we call them meta ads now. Back in the day, we call them Facebook ads. So we were using Facebook ads and we were using Google ads. And what we did back then was we'd put about 3/4 of the budget into Facebook ads and a quarter of the budget that we were spending into Google ads, because we were getting better results from Facebook, but we didn't want to become dependent on one way of doing things because Facebook could change its policies very quickly. I also love what you're saying about cost per click. You're going to get cheaper clicks, more people finding you on Facebook, but they have a lower, you said intent, a lower intent where, yeah, they're just vaguely interested. Whereas if someone's clicked on your Google ad, they've clicked on it because they've searched for exactly what you do. So, I mean, it's like chalk and cheese, isn't it? They really are different things. What would you recommend to, say, someone who's, let's run some scenarios, someone who's running, say, a curtains shop where they're selling curtains and blinds, all right, a product. What would you recommend that they use if they were only going to use one or the other? Let's imagine someone's in, say, an inner city suburb. They're selling curtains, traffic's difficult, there's a lot of competition. What would you recommend for someone like that?
I think probably for those, I'd probably start with Google Ads, just because, like I say, we can target very specific terms relevant to their product service. So yeah, like buy curtains, for example. So we know that user is in their target location, searching for something that's highly relevant. So I would start with that for sure. Really kind of scale the Google activity. I think also with Google, obviously you can unlock different platforms within Google as well. So it's not just Google search, and you can unlock ads across Gmail, YouTube, Google Display, Google Shopping as well, and other placements. Yeah, I would start with that, but then I would probably, once that got established and kind of bedding in, I would then look to really introduce Meta, because you definitely do get synergy where if you're running both and you're hitting users, potential users and customers and prospects across Google and Meta, you do get a 1+1 kind of equals 3 kind of uplift for sure. So yeah, that would be kind of the approach I would recommend.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the 1+1 equaling 3 is because you can retarget the people who found you on Facebook. How does that do you want to explain that retargeting?
Yeah, for sure. So, for example, if someone has been on your site to a particular page, like a product or category page. So, for example, for the curtain business, if they've been to a certain page and viewed, I don't know, like a red curtains, for example, we can then basically dynamically retarget that product on Meta, so that same user will see an image with that exact product in their Meta feed. So yeah, that's the approach there. I mean, Meta's also great not only for retargeting but also prospecting, just because the CPCs, the cost per clicks, are significantly cheaper than what you'll typically see across Google. So yeah, I wouldn't rule it out for kind of cold prospecting as well, because it can really work from that perspective.
Yeah. And also we need to think out of the box. Like, a lot of people are going to say, oh, I'll run your Meta ads, your Facebook ads. I'll run them for you. It's like, great. What are you going to do? Oh, we're going to say we're selling red curtains. Well, hold on. Let's not just sell red curtains. Let's run ads that say we'll help you choose between this type of curtain or this type of curtain. Or let's create ads that are not all about red curtains, but about how to choose between this type of fabric versus this type of fabric. And suddenly you're not just throwing a product at people's faces, you're actually coming alongside them. And so the way, I guess, we want to use Meta or Facebook is to come alongside people and suggest, whereas over in Google world, you're not here to suggest, not at those high cost per click that it costs you to market. You're here to go, oh, you wanted this? Here it is, right there on a silver platter. Hey?
Yeah, it's also building that kind of full funnel awareness as well at the top, and yeah, even getting people just exposed or know who your brand is very good. So yeah, doing that is going to help the overall kind of marketing mix for sure, rather than just really highly kind of direct response search terms.
Yeah, and I've never found a time in history where it's as easy as it is now to build a business quickly.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, effectively, you could probably build a website within 24 hours if you really wanted. And then, yeah, the Google Meta Ads accounts, similarly, you can get something up pretty quick. And yeah, go from there. And like we said, everything is directly trackable. You can see how every dollar is invested and kind of what return you're getting.
Yeah. And the magic of say Google Ads, for example, is let's say that there's the north part of the city and the south part of the city, right? You can go, I'm going to put these ads towards the north where, you know, we've got lots of staff, and I'm only going to put a little bit of advertising at the south where we've only got a few staff. There's not many mechanisms where you can do that. And to be honest, I'm really grateful we live in this time where as long as you've got a few dollars behind you, you can grow anything quite quickly. And you and I have worked for quite a lot of people who are growing very, very fast. One of my clients grew fourfold in 2 months. Sorry, 3 months earlier this year. You couldn't grow fourfold 10 years ago, 20 years ago. This is our day. So, and Justin, let me throw another scenario at you. Let's imagine you've got, say, say for example, a behavior support practitioner. Okay, they could be any allied health, but let's go with that. Behavior support practitioners, that's sort of pretty sensitive stuff. You're probably not going to initially go straight to Facebook. You're probably going to go straight to Google. What are the sort of things that go through your mind when you've got someone who's, say, a behavior support practitioner, they're trying to get the word out there? What sort of things should they have on their landing page, the page that the ads lead to? What sort of things should they be, what sort of keywords would they be targeting so that they're not competing with every other behavior support practitioner? What do you do to make it a bit elegant and a bit special and a bit like it's going to pay off?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely for the landing page. Yeah, you've obviously got to make sure that the language and everything used is kind of very professional and comes across correctly. So that would be the first element. And then from the Google perspective, basically everything I would be doing in terms of the ad copy would kind of mirror the kind of landing page, and then follow any specific guidelines that might be in place for that kind of business. And then just in terms of keywords, again, it would be looking at their particular niche. If they're doing something very particular within behavior support, if they're focusing on kind of one area in terms of like a specific disability or whatever it might be, is kind of finding keyword terms that relate to that have significant volume, and then targeting those. But like I said, making sure everything is kind of worded very correctly and maps up with that kind of business's overall view and objective, and then also matching the landing page.
Yeah. And that's where most people waste so much money. They'll go and literally spend thousands on, say, Google ads, but they'll send everyone who clicks on that ad straight to their homepage.
Yeah.
Their homepage is not differentiated for a different type of person. What they should be doing is having, say, one set of ads that's aimed at, say, support coordinators. Hey, support coordinators, you're looking for a behavior support practitioner who actually picks up the phone. That's us. And then on your landing page, they've clicked on that ad. On the landing page, it's, hey, the behavior support practitioners who pick up the phone. Yeah, and so your ad matches the landing page for that right person. And then that same business, for example, could then have another page that's specific for, I don't know, parents of people who need some BSP work, some behavior support practitioner work. And your ad will say, hey, parents, or it'll say helping parents of children with. And then your landing page will say, we help parents. What happens a lot of the time is when you and I review other people's ads accounts, we're like, my goodness, they're wasting half their budget because they haven't got that differentiation between the different types of people who are clicking on these ads. Is there anything else on that you think, well, what are the other things that people can do to make sure they're not wasting money on their ads, that their ads are being well spent?
I mean, you're completely right on the landing page. You want to send traffic to absolutely the most kind of relevant landing page possible. But I think the other element that is very important to make sure people are not wasting money is regular A/B landing page testing, making sure all your kind of conversion points are quickly visible on that landing page. So if it's a lead gen, you want to make sure the form is at the top of the page fold. Specifically, as we know, 90% of traffic coming through to that website are going to be on mobile. So making sure it's well mobile optimized is going to be key. And then, just really, really regular A/B testing to ensure you're getting continuous improvement of conversion rates is going to be very, very important. And then also looking at stuff like page speed as well, because a lot of websites that I've looked at before, their website is very, very slow. So that's going to naturally kind of affect conversion rates.
Yeah, and it's also going to affect the cost that people pay, because Google charges you more if you've got a rubbish website. If you've got a slow website, instead of charging you $5 like it charges a person on the road, it's charging you $7, and it's effectively punishing you for having a slow website. You
Yeah.
know, and that's why I say people like you and I, when we're looking after people's ads, we're using the fastest of fast software that we can get. You and I pay an enormous amount of money for the best of the best software so that people's landing pages are super quick, because then they get more ads for that amount of spend that they're going to have. And it's like, these are things people don't realize. Also, what you said about A/B testing, landing page A, landing page B, which one's working? A lot of people who do ads for people, they have a bit of a set and forget mindset of, oh, we built it and now we'll just look busy while we keep charging someone by the month. Whereas you and I, we're always, all right, what's our experiment this month? What are we going to try? What are the things we're going to do? What are we going to adjust with the landing pages? And it's, to be honest, it's a damn lot of work. People don't realize that. They think you and I just sit on a couch all day, Justin. What are the other things that, when someone's got someone good managing their ads, whether it's Meta or whether it's Google Ads, what are the other things that should be constantly monitored, constantly tweaked?
I mean, yeah, also from a Google perspective, I think really importantly it is looking at the actual search query report. So seeing exactly what terms are triggering your ads, and making sure that those are being reviewed. Anything that's irrelevant is quickly being negated, so there's no wastage. And then also adding new terms into the mix, because people's search behavior is changing kind of literally every single month. So making sure that the keyword list in the account is continually being expanded and kind of built on. And then looking at kind of bids and budgets, making sure they're being refined and optimized on a kind of regular basis. And then for meta ads, obviously one of the main critical elements there is the actual creative as well. So making sure, again, that's being regularly A/B tested. You have enough ads live at any single time. You're getting quantitative data. You're reviewing, refining, and kind of putting new challenger creatives in all the time. And the same with Google as well in terms of the actual text ads.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people, they think it's set and forget. No, it's never set and forget. And some of the wastage people have is because they're not reviewing the search terms. In other words, what are people typing that triggers your Google ad? So, for example, one of the quickest ways to save yourself a whole lot of money is to go and add as a negative keyword the word jobs. So say if you're a speech therapist, you would make sure that anytime someone types in speech therapy jobs, that your ad doesn't show, because that's not your client. There's also looking at, say, your targeting. Is your ad being shown to the geographic area that can choose you? Because if they're not, then everything you're showing to people outside that area is wasted money. You've just paid a robot to do nothing for you. Even times a day. What can you tell people about what times a day you'd be wanting to run ads for, say, a curtain business or a behavior support practitioner? What do you do with times a day, and how do you make those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at everything comes down to the data at the end of the day. So within the actual ad platform, we can segment data by times of the day. We can segment it by individual postcode, zip codes. We can segment by age demographics. We can segment by gender. We can do many different elements. We can look in the AdWords account and Meta account and say, for this kind of audience, over the last 30 days, we've spent X and we've returned Y. So it's just a case of going through all those individual kind of lines, working out what's the most efficient, and then pushing the majority of the budget to the best performers. So it's basically the approach. So really kind of analyzing the data in great detail, and then pushing budget to what's working.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's an ongoing thing. That's why it's not do it yourself from your backyard. If you've only got $500 a month that you're going to spend on ads, sure, do it yourself, or get someone off Upwork to set up for you, and then just hope for the best, right? But if you've got some serious coin that you're putting behind, I remember a business that I used to run, we used to spend like 30 grand a month on ads across, all the different things that we were doing. If you're spending 30 grand a month on ads, that's different to spending like $500. At 30 grand a month, if you've even got 10% wastage, that's 3 grand wasted. So as opposed to if you've only spent $500 and 10% of it's wasted, it's only $50. Who cares? So I would suggest that if anyone's getting to the point where they're willing to spend, say, $1,500, $2,000 a month on ads, and that's definitely when you'd want to be getting someone good who knows their stuff to come in and set it up correctly. And something I've seen you do a lot with people is you've just got rid of their wastage and you've more than paid for the cost that they're being charged, which is amazing. Now, there's always going to be people who go, oh, that sounds good, but it's not for me because I can't afford it. Like, what would you say to people who say, I can't afford it? For me, Justin, I'd say, hold on, what's your profit margin? And what is the profit you make per new client? And then if you can acquire new clients for less than the profit that you make from them, then that's money well spent. But what would you say to people who are trying to evaluate, should I not be spending money on ads?
Yeah, it's just, like you say, working out what their kind of target cost per lead is, or what their ROAS is that they need to make it viable for them. And then, from there, we can kind of propose like a media plan that we believe is achievable, and then kind of go from there. I think the other element really from ads is just how kind of scalable it is. So yeah, depending obviously on the particular business and what geos they operate in. Hopefully we can achieve similar results times 2, times 3, times 5, times 10, and really aggressively scale their business for them, but achieve the same results as they are now. Yeah, it's also that element of hitting the mass audience as well.
Yeah, and what you're saying is particularly relevant to the people who are out there going, I'm so virtuous, I get people through word of mouth because I'm just so magic. Everyone wants to recommend me. It's like, great, how do you scale that? You can't triple that. You can't quadruple that. You hit a point where that's not actually real. Now, Justin, you and I have spent a lot of money through the years on say our own Google ads, Facebook ads, and on other people's ads. I was telling someone recently, I was just having an estimate, like how much would Justin have spent in his lifetime on people's ads? And my estimate was so low. I said to him, he would have spent at least $100 million of people's money on ads. So Justin knows what he's doing, right? Justin, how much have you really spent? If you include the different accounts that you've worked on, even the government accounts that you've worked on, like how much would you have spent on ads over the years to sort of build up your skill set?
Yeah, it's hard to put a proper number on it. I mean, yeah, I would say conservatively, in the billions, to be honest, because I've obviously worked for, I've run all the UK government's media activity previously. I've worked with some really kind of sizable, massive multinational companies spending millions of dollars a month, really. And I've been doing it 15, 16 years. So it soon adds up. So, comfortably more than $1 billion, and then probably a lot more. But it's hard to go back and get the exact number. But a lot of money for sure.
Yeah, I can see your brain doing the maths. The thing is, like, there aren't many businesses where you get someone who's got that level of experience to come and work with you for a cost that mere mortals can afford. In almost any other industry, if someone spent billions of dollars, they're going to have a price tag on them that puts them out of reach of 99.9% of people. Whereas the level of experience that someone, say, of your skill set has is through the roof. I've spent millions, you've spent billions. That's like chalk and cheese, So I guess that's why I would recommend anyone who can afford to have someone who's good at ads, let them run it. Don't let your work experience kid, don't let your marketing person who doesn't have a clue, they're just watching YouTube. Like, don't let people waste your money by misspending it. Like, pay what it costs and get someone who really knows what they're doing, and dodge someone from Kazakhstan who really just loves to spam you. If they've got time to send you personalized emails, they're probably not very good at their craft, Justin, let's imagine if you weren't you and if I wasn't me, right? Let's imagine if you were running a support worker business where the business functions by support workers go into people's homes, help them with day-to-day stuff, go home at the end of the day. Okay. It's sort of low margin. Okay. But it's bulk works. One client might generate, say, $50,000 worth of revenue at a low margin. What sort of things would be going through your mind if you were evaluating, should I or should I not use Google ads, Facebook ads, Meta ads, LinkedIn ads? What would be the factors going through your mind? It's like, how do I invest in my business is what that person's thinking. Well, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, first thing, obviously, would need to understand where the current website is. and kind of what level it's at. But then, yeah, the first thing I would do is basically look within Google. There's something called the keyword planner. I would basically plug in my website URL. From there, Google will spit out kind of relevant keyword terms. Some of them may not be super relevant, but you could literally go through one by one and say, yeah, this keyword is exactly what my target audience would be searching for. And from that, you can see the estimated amount of people within your target geo that are searching that every given month. Will give you estimated cost per clicks, estimated spend, and you can build a proper plan based on that. So yeah, that would be my first port of call. See kind of exactly what kind of volumes are out there, how much budget I would need to allocate per month to kind of hit that. And then, yeah, basically kind of forecast based on if my website's kind of live and active at the moment, kind of what kind of conversion rate I'm getting from like direct or organic or other channels. And then, yeah, kind of factor that into the paid element. And then, yeah, kind of build a forecast from there. So say, I could say within Google, I could get this amount of clicks per month, this amount of spend. Based on the current conversion rate, I believe I could get this amount of leads. I know per lead, I usually get in this amount of revenue profit from it, and then kind of backward kind of engineer it and say, yeah, is this worthwhile or not? So yeah, that would be my plan. Get everything into an Excel sheet, make a detailed plan, and then go from there.
I love that, because people listening to that, they're like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, you actually could do that. And you could test out if ads are going to work for you on a small budget. And then once you start to see some success, you're like, oh my goodness, I put in $500 this month, but it brought back $10,000 in lifetime value for clients. Or you might say, I put in $500 and it only brought back $700. Well, that's not worth it. So people can run their own tests themselves. The other things of what you just said there is, first of all, you're looking at their website. Because I remember someone that I sent you earlier this week, you had a look at their website and said, Michael, they've got to sort their website first, because otherwise there's no credibility. Someone's going to see a great ad, great landing page, but then they're going to discover later a website that looks like it's from the dark ages. That's not going to work, And I guess I'd also add to it that where people get stuck trying to do a homegrown job is that they don't get their tracking right. Your tracking is just code that goes into your website. It's easy when you've done it 100 times before. It's impossible if you've never done it before. But you need that code in your website, because otherwise we don't know, did you get that client from Google Ads or from Auntie Joe told someone? So that's another spot that people fall down. But I would definitely encourage, Justin, people to give it a crack. What do you lose? Like, sure. What am I being outrageous, or is that okay to say that?
No, I completely agree. I think it's like we said at the start, that starting a business in this day and age is probably a lot easier than it used to be. And like you said, you can get a website, a Google Ads account up and running very, very quickly. You can try test budget, allocate $500, $1,000 as a test budget, see what happens. You may have unlocked a very powerful channel for you.
Yeah, and you won't know if you don't try it. And if you just want to dip your toe in the water, you can always boost a few of your Facebook posts. Just see what happens. Okay, that's the granny way of doing it. It doesn't make, with no skills, you can press that button. But good on you, Justin. Thank you for taking the time to help people today. I know a lot of people will value this a lot. I love how you're able to put things in a way that people go, oh, I could do that. If anyone wants to get in touch with us, they can find us on LinkedIn or email. You can see on the screen there's my email address. Justin and I, we help a lot of people and we love doing it. It's a fun, it's a joy. Justin, unrelated question. Okay. Let's imagine if you had unlimited money and you didn't need anything else in the world. What would you spend your time doing? Because a lot of people are like, they get so focused on the money, they forget about their life. What do you love to do outside of earn people money?
Well, I'd probably be on the golf course all day, to be honest. That would probably be my first port of call. And then, yeah, apart from that, I'll obviously trying to help out people where I can.
I love it. All right. So if you want to keep Justin off the golf course, get in touch with me and it'll either be myself or Justin who talks with you. But yeah, Justin, thank you for taking the time.
Lovely. Cheers, Michael. Thank you.